Beautiful, Sarah.
Thank you.
Well, I have to say I'm pretty excited to see something that's not just homogenous culture being shown here because it's pretty important throughout the world. And so it seems like you found a need out there that's important. In terms of your research, did you talk to schools or booksellers, or how did you go about researching what was out there and what was missing?
So for my research, I first approached two of the main and biggest bookstores in Saudi, which are Jarir Bookstore and Big Khan. And I asked some of the sellers and distributors there and asked them what is the most selling books that they're selling, how much does it cost, and so on. And based on what feedback I got, I started like focusing and narrowing down what kind of stories I'm gonna pick, and that is why I picked the first couple of stories for my publications.
Okay. So in terms of being this creative matchmaker between picking out the stories, how will you go about finding the artists and the writers that you think are appropriate?
So for approaching the writers and artists, we are approaching students, undergrad students in universities who are interested in illustration, fine art, and all kinds of arts overall. Also, we're looking for talents over social media, since not all of them are professionally trained. So we are very open to anyone who is talented.
Got it. And then do you have a relationship with the bookstores in Saudi, or where you're going to try to place your books, or is that sort of the next step?
So that is going to be the next step. I did have initial talks with one of the two bookstores over there. They are very interested in the idea, and they really want to see the first book finished, and that is where we are at this moment. We're working with Illustrator to finish the first book.
Okay, so will you sell them online first?
Yes, so we will sell them online first and then venture into distribution.
Okay, and then how do you think the business model will change as you start to scale up and go from digital into the stores?
So in the MVP, we're working on direct-to-consumer business model where we'll be printing by demand, and that's a similar business model as well. And later on, when we do confirm a distributor and we're looking for Jarir Bookstore, they will be our medium.
Okay, that sounds good. And then in terms of funding and the state agencies you mentioned, do they give out grants? Is that a way to get off the ground or not?
So for the two agencies that I did mention, they are focused on smaller projects. They do not give grants per se, but there are other organizations such as the Saudi Chamber of Commerce in Sharqiya, which I am planning on applying as soon as possible, and also other organizations such as Aqad and so on.
And have you looked into expanding once you have a couple of books out and there are characters developed in those books that kids fall in love with? Have you thought about, in terms of either marketing or creating new materials, branching out into videos or toys or anything like that to scale the business up?
So we do plan on like furthering out and branching out to merchandise such as toys to accompany our characters, especially since our main focus is finding true representations of our readers within these books. I'm not sure about videos yet. We have to look over the artwork and the talent and the level of work that is available, and based on that, we're going to see if we can actually do more collaboration with artists, animators, and writers as well.
And have you considered creating these books as digital media, like digital books, iBooks?
I am not sure it is the best medium. There's a new wave in Saudi Arabia where parents are more concerned about their kids' health, where maybe things on e-books on iPads and so on are not the best solution. They want to reduce the amount of exposure to digital media as much as possible.
Oh, that's an interesting fact.
So we're going back old school.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I
Thank
love
you.
the care you've taken into, getting your culture back out there,
Thank you.
away from Disney.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
Thank you.